Congressman, I thank you so much for being with us. And we had a great conversation just off the air. And I appreciate you being here with me this morning. God bless you, sir, for everything you've been doing.
Well, Matt, God bless you. It's great to be with you, and a Happy New Year to you and your listeners.
All right, so as you are paying attention, as I know you do, to what Obama said yesterday, you had a comment to me that I thought was exactly right on, and it was about what you see over the course of the next 11 and a half months, and it was, sir?
These are the most dangerous 11 and a half months the country has faced in a long time, because Obama is now unleashed to do everything he possibly can to transform this country into something the founders never intended, that we don't want, and that he in his heart has sought to do from the time he took that oath.
All right, and I agree with you. And here's what I have been saying, and correct me if I'm wrong. That Obama right now, all of this nonsense yesterday, this pretending to cry over things, and look, nobody is trying to take out of feeling parents that lost their children in the Sandy Hook school shooting. But what he's doing is distracting the United States, because I believe, as you just said, there's something far more horrific going on. We just don't know about it yet.
Oh, absolutely, Matt. This is don't pay, all of us, our heart breaks for those families, but that's a distraction. You're exactly right. It's a smokescreen for what Obama's part of it. The key part of his agenda has always been to disarm honest, law-abiding Americans. He sees the Constitution as an impediment to his goal to transform America into a European or worse style social welfare state. And he's going after using the distraction or that emotion that we all feel. Our hearts break for those families and those kids. You're exactly right. Don't be distracted. This is nothing less than a full-scale assault on our Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. And fortunately, Matt, because of the trust of my constituents, I the privilege of representing Texas and West Houston, I finally, last January, became chairman of the committee that's in charge of all the funding for the Department of Justice, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms.
Right.
All federal law enforcement funding, Matt, has to go through my committee, and I've discovered if you control 100% of these bureaucrats' money, you've got 100% of their attention. So I'm using that authority right now. I did it last March, and we'll talk about that in a second. I stopped the ammo ban, but I'm using that authority entrusted to me by my constituents and the founders. The founding fathers gave Congress the power of the purse to rein in an out-of-control executive. And as chairman, I've got the authority to stop, to put a lot of pressure on the Department of Justice to protect the Second Amendment, and that's what I'm going to do.
Texas Congressman John Culberson, you are the first congressman to join me this year, and I appreciate that very, very much. Let me ask you a question, Congressman, and I just want kind of a short answer to this so that we all understand. Here's what Obama was talking about, in my opinion. So the centerpiece of this whole thing is to push the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. He wanted to have them go in, update guidance on anyone in the business of selling a gun dealer, regardless of where they sell or how many. Does that, in your opinion, sound like something that is eventually or quickly going to go to court as people, refuse to do what Obama wants them to do?
Matt, you're right. That's the heart of this gun grab by the president. That will eventually wind up in court, but what I'm doing doesn't require a court order. I don't need a new bill. I don't need legislation, a court order. I'm not going to wait for a lawsuit. I have the authority today, right now, this week, to go after the funding for the Department of Justice, to box them in and put pressure on the ATF in particular to stop this overreach by the president. And what they're doing, Matt, and you're right to focus on this one, is attempting to impose, make anyone who wants to sell a gun to, if you want to sell it privately, you want to rent a table at a military show or a flea market, they're attempting to make almost anybody in America have to do a background check on anyone they sell a gun to. Private gun sales are at the heart of the Second Amendment. If I want to give you a gun, if I want to give it to my brother...
Are you going to do that, though? I mean, is that something you're absolutely going to do? Yes?
Well, Absolutely, I have the authority to do it. I did it with the ammo ban. Back in March, the Obama administration attempted to ban .223 ammunition and a whole variety of other ammunition.
Okay.
I called in the head of the ATF, had a private conversation for 30 minutes. I have the authority as chairman, Matt, to block their money on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis and stop them from moving money around.
You're definitely going to do what's necessary, correct?
I did it on the .223 ammo ban. Nobody else could stop the ammo ban. I did it as chairman, and I'm going to do it on. I did it with the ammo ban. I'm doing the same thing here to box in the ATF and tell them, listen, you've gone too far. Leave private citizens alone. Gun dealers, you're in the business. You got a sign out front. You sell guns all year long. That's fine. Background checks. That's been the law. That's fine. But leave private Americans alone.
All right, Congressman, I agree with you 100%. Let me ask you this question. You and I both know that many times things have been said publicly by media or by those in politics, and you have to kind of change. As Obama is going through his presidency, it was extremely difficult. This year, 2016, is a year, as you just said when we started this conversation, and you understand that the next 11 and a half months could be horrific because of what Obama is going to do. Are we, congressmen, going to tell each other the absolute truth? Tell me what you can do. Tell me what you cannot do. And we speak honestly to each other because we know this is such an important year for the United States. My God, I mean, it could be one of the most important in my life.
Matt, my good name is my most valuable possession, as the proverb says, worth more than all the gold and silver in the world. I've always told you the truth. I'll always tell my constituents the truth. I always keep my word. From the time you and I first made sure the veterans can pray at the Veterans Cemetery,
right.
I got the ammo ban stopped. I stopped the ATF, the Obama administration, from banning a whole category of ammunition back in March, and I did that on my own. As chairman of this subcommittee, I've got the ability, Matt, to stop these big agencies from moving money around. So it can be done. I will do it. I did it before. I'm doing it right now.
And I believe you, sir. As we start this incredibly important year in the United States, I believe you, and we're going to stay together and do everything we can together. And again, I welcome you back, and I appreciate the fact that you and I are going to be on the same team, and God bless you. Keep it going, and we'll keep talking.
Matt, God bless you. You're in our prayer chain, and a Happy New Year to you and our listeners, and we're going to be vigilant, protecting the Second Amendment rights of Americans against the Obama administration. If they want access to our hard-earned tax dollars, they're going to have to obey federal law, and most of all, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. Sir. That's my duty, and I'll do it.
Thank you, Congressman.